DocTalk is brought to you by Boehringer Ingelheim Vetmedica Inc., the makers of Pyramid 5 plus Presponse SQ, a market leader in combination respiratory vaccines.
Hi there folks, Dr. Dan from DocTalk. Thanks for joining us today. It's going to be a good show. We're going to talk about beta-agonists, and it's something that has grabbed the headlines for the beef industry for the last several months, and it's something that we need to have a frank discussion about so that we understand the reason why we need to keep these types of technology and we need to push the envelope forward on providing a safe, wholesome beef product. Stay tuned.
Say this is a calf that's been run through the chute a few too many times. Going through the chute stresses cattle, causing them not to eat like they should. Luckily, Pyramid 5 plus Presponse SQ provides proven protection against key respiratory diseases in a single shot, with just one trip through the chute. Talk to your veterinarian about Pyramid 5 plus Presponse SQ, and soon your calves will relax and eat like a whole different animal.
Closed caption brought to you by AgriLabs, the perfect pairing of performance and value. Hi there folks, I'm Dr. Dan Thompson. Thanks for joining me today on DocTalk, and a lot of times we take the opportunity to pull forward some of the issues that are impacting the beef industry and talk about them with you. And one of them that has definitely been on the topic has been beta-agonists. And the first thing I want to just start out with is what are beta-agonists? And beta-agonists are repartitioning agents, so it's a pretty big word. Repartitioning means that it helps the animal partition energy towards producing protein. So when we think about technologies that are metabolic modifiers or growth promoters within the beef industry, some of the things that we utilize are steroid implants and beta-agonists. And we have used bovine growth hormone or bovine somatotropin, BST, in dairy production. And all of these types of technologies go through an FDA approval process. And these FDA approval processes are quite lengthy, expensive, and exhaustive when it looks at the safety of the product, not only for human consumption and establishing some of the guidelines as far as making sure that there are no residues of those products at a residual level that would impact human health, but also that these do not have a negative impact on the health of the animals that we're utilizing them in. So when we look at what FDA does, the Food and Drug Administration, they're going to take these products, they're going to run them through a series of tests to make sure, number one, that they're safe for the animals, safe to make sure that the products that we consume are safe, and thirdly, that they're efficacious, meaning do they make a positive impact on the growth and feed efficiency of the animals that they're being utilized in. And when we start to think about technology, and we start to think about the technologies that are utilized today, when we talk about efficiency, what we're talking about is the pounds of product, pounds of feed or grain that need to be utilized to produce 1 pound of beef. And when we are looking at sustainability, when we're looking at reducing our carbon footprint, these types of technology have not only improved the efficiency to lower the cost and make beef more affordable, but they also decrease the amount of inputs and the amount of carbon footprint that we have in the beef industry as we're producing beef per pound of product that's produced. So these are extremely important products. It's hard for me to explain to a starving world or explain to a world that is trying to improve the efficiency of beef production to produce more protein and more animal protein for their countries, why we would not use these products. But as we move forward with beta-agonists and metabolic modifiers in our discussion today, I want to talk a little bit about their safety, talk a little bit about why we utilize them, and then talk about some of the issues that have erupted over the last several months and how we're taking corrective steps forward to make sure that we're producing that safe, affordable product for you that is wholesome and nutritious. So, to set the timetable, we're going to go back and talk a little bit about some of the issues we've seen in the beef industry, talk about the utilization of the beta-agonist, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about some things we can do this summer to prevent and make sure that we don't have fatigue calf syndrome. You're watching Doc Talk. I'm glad that you joined us. I hope you enjoy the show.
This segment was brought to you by Brute Cattle Equipment, makers of the Brute Stealth Hydraulic Chute. If the chute fits, swear by it. Visit our website for more information.
Working your cattle just got easier. Introducing the new Vet Gun delivery system, a new way to apply topical insecticides to your cattle. The Vet Gun lets you remotely treat cattle with effective parasite control, so you can do it from an ATV, on horseback, or just walking among the herd. It's that simple. The proven topical insecticide AML Vet Cap is used with the Vet Gun. It works fast to control horn flies and lice while minimizing stress on your cattle. Fast, easy, effective. Vet Gun. Check with your animal health supplier for availability.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply. Hi, I'm Kevin Ochsner, host of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman and Colorado Rancher. Join me each week as the National Cattlemen's Beef Association brings you the latest updates in industry information and market news. Plus, each week we provide important educational information and features on cattlemen from across the country just like you. And we can't forget our favorite cowboy poet, Baxter Black. Join me for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman, debuting Tuesday nights at 8:30 Eastern, right here on RFD TV.
Beef producers asked for it, and Norbrook delivers. Introducing new Enroflox 100, the newest addition to your arsenal for treating bovine respiratory disease. Enroflox 100 is an FDA-approved, ready-to-use injectable antimicrobial solution to treat BRD associated with Mannheimia hemolytica, Pasteurella multocida, and Histophilus somni in beef and non-lactating dairy cattle. Administered SQ as a multiple-day therapy. Consult with your veterinarian today about Enroflox 100, the new choice. This segment is brought to you by Norbrook Laboratories, manufacturers of Enroflox 100, the newest addition to your arsenal for treating bovine and swine respiratory disease.
Hi there, folks. Welcome back to Doc Talk. Dr. Dan Thompson here from the College of Veterinary Medicine, and we're talking about beta-agonists. And beta-agonists are a hormone that are used in the last 30 days of the feeding period, and they've been around for quite a while. We've been utilizing them in the swine industry for 15 to 20 years in the form of ractopamine, or the product name is Paline. And we've been utilizing them in the beef industry for 6 to 10 years, depending on the product. We've had the product Zilpaterol hydrochloride, Zilmax, utilized for the last 6 years, and we've had ractopamine, which is the same product that we've utilized in the swine industry, now in the cattle industry, and that product's name is Optiflex. These products are utilized and fed the last 25 to 30 days of the animal's life. And so what we do is we incorporate these products into the feeding regimen over the last 30 days or into the diet, and the animals consume this product at the feed bump. Once these animals consume these hormones or feed additives, the product works within the body to right directly on the muscle cells to increase the size of the muscle cells and increase the amount of protein that is stored within muscle cells in these animals, increasing the amount of beef that's produced while decreasing the amount of fat that we see within the carcass. So when it looks at sheer amount of product being produced at 25 to 30 pounds of beef on a 1,500 pound animal, that's quite a bit of increase as far as the amount and improvement in feed efficiency. Now, the other thing that we do is we make this product leaner, which when we look at quality grade, whether it's a prime steak versus a choice steak, that will decrease the quality grade a little bit. But we have learned how to manage around those facts and issues within the industry. When we think about beta agonists, and really the big hubbub about beta-agonist has recently come up because of what we've been seeing with the fatigue cattle syndrome. And basically, fatigue cattle syndrome is a problem at the packing plant where these animals have slower moving, or they look like they're tied up. And basically, when we look at all the different things that have occurred, we see the fatigue cattle syndrome problem occurring more in the summer, where we have heat stress and things to that nature. We see it in animals that are large. We see it at the time of slaughter. And we're seeing it at the point in time. There really isn't a breed predilection. There really isn't a steer versus heifer predilection, but summertime, large animals coming into the packing plants. And some of the things we're going to discuss today are things that we can do to alleviate these issues that are occurring so that we can maintain that we keep this type of technology current and being able to use it within the beef industry. Beta-agonists in general have been proven to be safe. Beta-agonists in general have been proven to be safe for the animals that they're used in. So when we start to think about how we're going to use these products in animals that we keep increasing the outweight or the slaughter weight in, we're going to have to start to think about some of the animal husbandry practices that we do in the 30 days leading up to before slaughter, and some of the things that we're going to have to do at the point in time of slaughter. You're watching DocTalk. More after the break. It's a big topic, and I don't know if we can get it all in, but we're going to do our very best.
This Meet the Veterinarian is brought to you by Merck Animal Health, the science of healthier animals. Dr. Dan Gale and his wife Rachel own and operate the Canton Veterinary Clinic in Canton, Missouri, where he works with large animal clients, primarily stocker and cow-calf beef operations. Dr. Gale is a partner in Professional Beef Services, an organization that provides information to the beef industry and also writes a blog on AgWeb.
As dependable as the sunrise, in dairy parlors, open pastures, on ranches and feed yards across America, a place where reputation is more than a name, where the science of healthier animals is a way of life. It's the responsibility that drives who we are and what we do. Every decision, every day. It's your livelihood and our responsibility.
This hog is head over hoof for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one hog isn't that impressive, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing. Our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
The Kansas State University College of Veterinary Medicine is a leader in food animal research and education. Our researchers are constantly expanding the knowledge of animal health and food safety. Through the Veterinary Health Center and the Kansas State Veterinary Diagnostic Lab, we provide practical services for animal producers. Home of the Beef Cattle Institute, the college is committed to animal welfare training and research. The Kansas State University College of Veterinary Medicine, knowledge and service for the future of animal production.
TrueTest Group, weighing systems, electronic identification, EID, electric fencing, and dairy automation systems help farmers and ranchers around the world manage the performance of their livestock for ultimate profitability.
Hi there, folks. Welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thompson here, and we're talking about the issue that has been occurred in the swine industry and occurred in the beef industry, and that's fatigue pig syndrome or fatigue cattle syndrome. And basically, fatigue pig syndrome has been shown to occur in both swine that are consuming a beta-agonist or swine that are not consuming a beta-agonist. As a matter of fact, we've seen it in cattle that were not fed a beta-agonist. And so the beta-agonist issue may be a tipping point or something that when we get to the point in time and we start to think about the stair-stepping of stresses to tip these animals over with the fatigue pig or fatigue cattle syndrome are important to understand. And what fatigue pig syndrome or fatigue cattle syndrome is, as far as a syndrome within animals, It's basically we get these animals that are heavily muscled due to genetics. We get these animals that we feed to a larger outweight, and we have stresses such as heat stress, transportation stress, animal handling, to where these point in time where these animals burn the glycogen stores up within their muscles. And when we have these larger animals with bigger outweights, just like people, larger people don't do as well within heat stress situations, we start to see this fatigue pig syndrome or fatigue cattle syndrome when these animals arrive at the slaughter facility. These animals will be increased in respiratory rate and they will be under duress or stress. These animals will have muscle tremors and they'll be tied up. And the best way I can describe the tying up part of this process is when we go out and exercise, after we haven't exercised for a long time, and we go out and exercise, and the next day we wake up and we're sore, we're stiff. Well, that's lactic acid built up. And as we see this fatigue pig syndrome or this fatigue cattle syndrome, and we see these animals that are slower moving, these animals that are tying up or not able to move as well, although people have reached back to look directly at the beta-agonist, there are many, many different issues that are a part of this process to get the animals to the point. Now, how many animals are being affected? I think that it's very dependent on season. We rarely see this problem during the spring, during the winter, or during the fall. It is basically only a summertime issue that we see it within the animals within the industry, and especially within the beef industry. So again, I want to go back to there's two types of stress that I think that we're going to have to focus on as we move forward this summer with these types of products. And the basically is the first 30 or the last 30 days on feed, which is going to be the long-term stress, and then that point in time in which we ship the animals. And so we're going to talk about that as we go forward. But as far as the last 30 days on feed, I think that we're going to have to go back and evaluate how long we're going to put these animals on feed. Are we going to start to control the outweights of these animals? I know that we have a decreased cow herd numbers, which decreases the number of animals going into the feeding facility with an increased demand for beef. So that puts the pressure on us to feed these animals to a little bit bigger outweight. During the summertime, what types of regimens are we coming forward to make sure that we're alleviating heat stress, whether it's increasing the number of water tanks, putting shade on these cattle, knocking down the weeds, all these different things that we can do on long-term stress. When we come back, I'm going to talk about some of the short-term stressors and again, why we need to keep these types of technology. You're watching DocTalk, and I'm very thankful that you joined us.
Hello, this is Dr. Chris Blevins at Kansas State University Veterinary Health Center, and the horse tip is eyes, horse's eyes. Things to be watching for with the horse and how important their eyes are in any realm of the horse's situation. Any eye emergency or concern is an emergency for the horse. In assessing the eye, it should always be clear, no tearing, or if the horse is squinting the eye, then again, get your veterinarian involved as soon as possible, because the eye cases can sure turn bad quickly, and a horse could even lose their eye if you don't keep a close eye on their aspect of the eye, because especially during summer or wind, flies, anything could irritate or damage the outside film of the eye and cause irritation and infection. So talk to your veterinarian if you're ever concerned about it.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply. Say this is a calf that's been run through the chute a few too many times. Going through the chute stresses cattle, causing them not to eat like they should. Luckily, Pyramid 5 plus Presponse SQ provides proven protection against key respiratory diseases in a single shot, with just one trip through the chute. Talk to your veterinarian about Pyramid 5 plus Presponse SQ, and soon your calves will relax and eat like a whole different animal.
Hello friends, I'm Ernie Rodina.
And I'm Dawn Dawson with the Better Horses Radio Show.
For over 9 years, we've been bringing the Better Horses Radio Show to markets all across the Midwest. We talk about God, lots about horses.
We talk about cows, we talk about horse health, we talk to top trainers, and we even talk about Roy Rogers.
We are having a blast with Better Horses Radio Show and would love to take it to a market near you.
So visit our website at betterhorsesradio.com and let us or your local radio station know you'd like to hear it in your area.
The Better Horses Radio Show is unbelievable.
This segment is brought to you by the Beef Quality Assurance Program and the Kansas Beef Council, improving animal care and beef safety for more than 20 years.
Hi there folks, Dr. Dan from DocTalk. Thanks for joining me today to talk about beta-agonists and more specifically fatigue pig syndrome and fatigue cattle syndrome. When we left, we'd talked about some of the longer term stresses, the last 30 days, the heat stress, the summertime, the outweights of these animals, which have a huge impact on prevalence of fatigue cattle syndrome or fatigue pig syndrome and the amount of muscling and the genetics that we see in our cattle today. But there's also the short-term stress, or the point in time in which we ship these animals, that is very important to look at the stacking of stressors on these animals to prevent them from exhibiting the clinical signs of fatigue pig syndrome or fatigue cattle syndrome. And some of the things are, and it starts with low stress cattle handling, properly trained people, proper facilities, making sure that people that are transporting these animals know how to load the animals correctly and transport them to the slaughter facility with the least amount of stress possible. The distance from which these animals are located from their home pen to the loadout. Some people are moving these animals as they get closer to the time of slaughter, moving them to pens that are closer to the loadout facility to alleviate the amount of stress from movement. And then the other one is the time of day. During the summertime, it gets hotter during the middle of the day and cools off during the earlier and later parts of the day. Shipping these animals early during the day before heat stress or the thermal heat index kicks up is vitally important. When I look at the big picture problems with fatigue cattle syndrome, heat stress and stress around moving these animals are the tops. And so when we think about prevention and we think about the importance, why is it important to understand this? Because I don't want to wrongly throw a technology out the window or wrongly not fix the problem if the technology is the problem. But the thing is at this point in time, we simply don't know. And as we move forward within this industry, we can't continue to throw out technologies that have gone through the FDA approval process that are safe, that improve the efficiency of the cattle that we raise. When we start to think about conventionally raised beef, where we utilize the technology such as steroid implants and beta-agonists and insecticides and things to that nature, versus naturally produced beef versus organically raised beef, we have an increase in cost of production of $100 or $200 per head for natural beef versus conventional, and $450 to $600 per head in organically produced beef versus conventional. The American Dietitians Association has said that the only way that we should differentiate organic and natural and conventionally raised beef is the way in which these animals were raised. When you look at quotes from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, or you look at the USDA, these products should not be differentiated, organic beef versus natural versus conventional, in wholesomeness, nutritiousness, safety, or anything of that matter. These products, when we look at them, the cost not only increases the production, but it increases the cost of the product dramatically at the counter. I don't have a problem if people want to eat natural and organic products. That's great, and I'm not against those types of beef production systems. I just don't think that people should tell me that the meat that I put on my table for my family that's raised in a conventional, safe manner is not as safe, as nutrition, or as wholesome as the organic or natural products. Hey, thanks for watching Doc Talk today. I sure hope you enjoyed the show. Remember, if you want to find us on the web, you can find us at www.doctalktv.com. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson from the College of Veterinary Medicine. You've been watching Doc Talk, and I'll see you down the road. Closed caption brought to you by AgriLabs, the perfect pairing of performance and value.
For more information about this program or previous programs, go to DocTalkTV.com. DocTalk was brought to you by Boehringer Ingelheim Vetmedica Inc., the makers of Pyramid 5 plus Presponse SQ, a market leader in combination respiratory vaccines.